So it's official. TJ Watt has been extended for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know. I was saying I didn't want the Steelers to go out there and give him $40 million a year, but they did give him $40 million a year. I think the best of TJ Watt is pretty much over with, but I still think he'll be productive. I'm not saying he's totally washed up. I think he can honestly go out there and get the Steelers 15, 16 sacks this year. And one thing, there was rumors going around saying that the contract basically was the biggest issue with the contract and why they didn't come to terms yet was the fact that the years on the contract, I can live with those years on the contract. I don't think that's too long. I think it's perfect. You basically get what's ever left of TJ Watt with that type of deal, and it is what it is. I mean, I think the Steelers are ready to compete this year for a Super Bowl. I don't know. There's a lot of high-powered offenses out there this year. And in the league nowadays with the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, the Ravens, there's a lot of high-powered offenses, especially in the AFC. And two teams in the Steelers division, I think the Ravens are going to be really good this year. I think they're the obvious front runners for the division. The Bengals, I think, are an obvious front runner for the AFC North this year too, as well. You can't even count the Bengals out. They have a really soft schedule and a really great offense. Their defense is absolutely terrible, but with their offense, they can score a lot of points. And no matter who they play against, they're probably going to put good 25, 30 points up on the board. So it's going to be a crapshoot every time you play the Bengals. And the Steelers' defense is going to have to lock it down. I mean, I think with all the added additions in the draft and through free agency and trades like for Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, picked up a lot of depth on defense. I think Derrick Harmon, that's the guy I wanted the Steelers to draft right off the rap. He's going to be an instant plug-and-play starter, so he's going to definitely help Steelers defense, and it's going to be a totally different Steelers defense this year. I think they're going to be able to get after the quarterback with Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay and Joey Porter Jr. out there in the secondary, locking it down in the corner positions. I think that's going to give Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, Herbig, and that Harmon, Cam Hayward, and that entire front seven a lot of time to get after the quarterback, and I think the Steelers defense is going to force a lot of turnovers this year, 100%. I mean, I wish they would have came to terms, and maybe came to more of a team-friendly deal with TJ. But it is what it is. TJ's the face of the franchise. He's the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, hey, you're going to pay your face, and that's what Steelers do. They pay their players when they earn it, and TJ definitely earned that contract. No matter what, I mean, he earned it for sure. I mean, he has the most sacks in the NFL. I mean, he just outdoes Myles Garrett in pretty much every category. And a lot of these edge rushers, I mean, in terms of sacks, I think a lot of the sacks come from, the interior linemen eating up blocks for sure in the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. But TJ Watt is a game wrecker. And he earned a contract. I just wish it could have been a little bit more team-friendly, especially because the Steelers pretty much had all the leverage in that situation. They could have franchise tagged him. So they could have, tried to make it a little bit harder and lowball TJ and probably win a contract dispute and pretty much force him to sign for less. But they didn't want to make it a distraction, and they signed him before training camp. That's the biggest thing, signing him before training camp, because if you don't sign him before training camp, it's a distraction. Every player gets asked about it, and they pretty much have to kiss TJ's ass. And if they don't, it's going to be a big controversy, and it'll be top news on ESPN every single day. So-and-so said this about TJ Watt, and so It would be a big issue. It would be a big drama. It would be a big things you don't want, especially if you're a player. You want to go there and be about your business, do what you have to do in training camp, and avoid having to talk about TJ Watt every single day. But it is what it is. They got it, got him signed. So now all you can do is think what the Steelers are going to do this year. And I think the Steelers can win, 10, 11 games. Just depends on how well they do against the defense. What's up, Ron? I need to start going live more on this channel every day. Go live on this channel. I know you're pumped that your boys re-signed. I'm not jumping for joy. I'm not mad. It is what it is. I definitely think they could have got him for cheaper, but I mean the Steelers defense is definitely better with TJ than without TJ. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. Hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully he can help this team win a playoff game. And with this defense, I think he's going to be really good this year. We have a lot of talent on defense. Got a good quarterback, even though you don't think Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback. We got a good quarterback. We got a great wide receiver. I see your post you're making about DK Metcalf over George Pickens. It's not even a debate. It's not even a debate that DK Metcalf is an entirely better athlete and wide receiver than George Pickens. So I think we're going to get a lot more production, a lot more touchdowns, a lot more receptions, and a lot more yards with DK Metcalf, the wide receiver, than George Pickens. He could be a little bit of a distraction, but I definitely think he's a top receiver in the NFL, way better than George Pickens for sure. But like I said before, we got a tough-ass division, bro. And this defense is really going to have to step up. Because the biggest question is, I say still with Steelers' offense, is that offensive line. I mean, it's been slowly getting a little bit better and better and better. Frazier, I mean, I think maybe the line might be complete, especially with Broderick moving back to his natural position. And that first-round pick that we drafted last year is going to be starting right tackle this year. So he doesn't really have too many big shoes to fill. I mean, Dan Moore was terrible last year, gave up the most sacks at left tackle last year. So I feel it can only get better with Broderick moving to his natural position and him there. Frazier, I think our guards are really good. So honestly, I guess what was his name? Mason McCormick, that fourth-round pick that got thrown in the fire and started all last year. He did good, but that's still a question. I'd say center, guard, tackles are a big question. Both our guards, two of our tackles and our guard are questionable to me. Even Zach Frazier. I mean, Broderick Jones had a good rookie year, then he had a sophomore slump. Is Zach Frazier going to have a sophomore slump? Hopefully not. In the running game has been good with Najee Harris. I don't care what nobody says. He's out for the season, I heard. I don't know if that's true. He got some kind of eye injury, but we got to be able to run the ball. And I don't think we're going to want to run the ball. We're going to want to pass the ball first, especially with Rodgers. And I said in my other live that I think Jaylen Warren and Gainwell are they're like perfect backs for Aaron Rodgers type of play. I feel so much better. Put on stage. I feel so much better knowing TJ was going to be with us. I didn't know he wasn't going anywhere. I think everybody knew he wasn't going anywhere. I just can't believe they paid him that much money. It's a lot of money. Yeah, I seen that. I don't know if he's out for the year or what. I seen something, though, that said he's out for the year. And we've been really running the ball. So hopefully they can continue that trend of running the ball. I mean, he had, 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons? Is there any back on the Steelers roster this year that's going to rush for 1,000 yards? I don't know. I don't think so. I think they'll divide that workload up a lot this year in terms of running the ball. Jalen might be the starter, but Johnson, he'll probably get in there in a lot of situations, like 2nd and 4s, 2nd and 3s, 3rd and 1s, shit like that. Short yarded situations. But in long yard situations, 3rd downs, 3rd and longs, you might be seeing a lot of Gainwell in there. It might be splitting a lot of reps between them to where none of them are going to get enough reps to even rush for 1,000 yards, honestly. They might split it up, but who knows? They might just give Jaylen Warren the bulk of the load. I mean, he'd be a pretty good – what do you think about Roman Wilson? I don't really know what to think about him. I mean, he was good in college. He was tough, gritty. If I want to compare, I'm not comparing. He's fast. They said he had a 4.3 40. So you got a guy like that with speed, is gritty, hopefully can step up and make some plays. You got 2 really young, really fast wide receivers on this team with DK Metcalf. And I think Calvin Austin had a pretty decent year last year. So I'm not even counting Calvin Austin out. That's who right now, I even asked the question, who's the Steelers' number 2 wide receiver? Calvin Austin, Robert Woods, or Roman Wilson? I think, personally, Calvin Austin should be the number 2 listed wide receiver, just given the stats last year, his speed. But Roman might earn it. Who knows? He's tough. He's gritty. He won a championship with Michigan. He's small. But, I mean, you get him in open space, he can definitely make plays with that speed. Same with Calvin Austin. I know. Hopefully he can step up. They need another playmaker to step up, but I think DK is going to be good. And I think that bringing Jonnu Smith here is big, huge for the Steelers offense. Very big. I think he's going to be a big-time target, big-time goal line target for Aaron Rodgers. And they got a lot of tight ends. Steelers got a good tight end room. I'm not going to say the best, but it's a pretty goddamn solid tight end room. You got I don't see how Connor Hayward honestly even makes the team at this point. You can't. Connor Hayward is not better than Washington. Should not be on a roster over Washington. Definitely not going to be on a roster over Jonnu or Pat Freiermuth. So I personally don't see how Connor Hayward makes the roster this year. I've been saying it for years. So I don't know how you're going to let him make the roster this year. I don't think it'd be fair. Put him on a roster this year, to be honest. You can go out there, Go out there and sign. Don't even be done with the wide receiver room. Go out there and sign Amari Cooper. Go out there and sign a Keenan Allen. And then, boom, we can get rid of a Skoranek or somebody that's useless, or Connor Hayward. Somebody just is a useless, like Connor Hayward. Bring in an Amari Cooper. Bring in a Keenan Allen. Like who? Oh, Connor Hayward. Yeah, no, we talk about that. I've been he's terrible. He's not a tight end. He's not a tight end. He's not an NFL tight end. He's too small, not heavy enough. He's not fast enough to be a wide receiver. The only thing I could see him being maybe in the NFL is a 3rd down back. That's the only position I think he's just like a 3rd down back. You better off listing him as a 3rd down back. He's not no tight end. He's not no wide receiver. Shit, he ain't even 3rd down back. He's Cam Hayward's brother, so he has a spot. Now with Jonnu, there's no way you can put him on this roster. I feel that's just a waste of space. Are we going to cut Beanie Bishop? I'd rather keep Beanie Bishop like that. I seen an article saying the Beanie Bishop might not make the roster. Or Kobe Trice, or one of these young players we got in the secondary. I'd rather keep one of them than Hayward. Hayward's useless. They both had interceptions last year. I know Beanie Bishop had a few picks last year. I ain't getting rid of him for him. I'd rather keep Skoranek than probably goddamn Connor Hayward. Real shit calls him Casey Hayward. He don't even know his name. That's how bad he is. You know his name. It seems like it's taking a while. September. Training camp started today. TJ's there. So there'll be no distraction for camp. And Steelers got a quarterback. Steelers got a number 1 wide receiver. Steelers got 2 great tight ends to come out of that Arthur Smith offense. And Steelers have so much depth on defense, like in an insane amount of depth on defense. It's crazy. I love the secondary. And I love the front 7. And I think with our front 7, it's going to make Jalen Ramsey's job a lot easier. And our front 7 with Jalen Ramsey is going to make our front 7 a lot easier. And I think the Steelers front 7 is nasty. I can see Derrick Harmon getting 8.5 sacks right off the rip. Cam Hayward getting 8.5 sacks. Alex Highsmith getting 11 sacks. TJ getting 13 to 14 sacks. Herbig coming in getting like 5-6 sacks off the bench. Patrick Queen, that's another one. That's what I was going to make a video. I should make a video about this. I might just write it down. Honestly, I got to start writing shit down for real and videos I have to make. I'm going to write that one down right now. I might even just clip it from this live and upload it. But Patrick Queen absolutely needs to have a bounce back year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They ranked him as a top, number 75 or whatever, top 100 player in the NFL or whatever. Well, he didn't play like it last year. We signed him to be an elite inside linebacker, a Pro Bowl caliber inside linebacker, and he's still in his prime. We signed him when he was 24. So he's 25 going on 26, however old he is. That dude's really just got to step it up. I mean, you cannot have Derrick Henry run the ball for 300 yards in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, that's the inside linebacker's job, is put back on backers. That's like one of the main drills you run in practice and in football. And you got to be able to stop the running back, and you cannot let him run for all over you. And that's what happened to the Steelers in the playoffs. And Patrick Queen needs to be more productive for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. A second year with the Steelers defense. Hopefully, he's got his confidence back. He's with it. He's a part of the team. He's ready. I mean, he's the green hat. He's essentially the quarterback of the defense, and he needs to be one of the leaders of the defense, and he needs to be one of the best players on the defense, and he needs to play a lot better than he played last year. And hopefully Logan Wilson, he's fast as lightning, was a great linebacker in college. A lot of people said it was a steal for the Steelers. He needs to step up. Now, you got Landon Roberts gone. He was one of the best run stoppers in the entire NFL last year. So that's a big miss on defense. But they added a lot of beef up front, and I like it. And they got a bunch of linebackers in the draft. So I'm liking what the Steelers did. And I'm liking Harmon. I think Harmon's just going to dominate up front. Dominate. And he'll start right off the rip. Period. Even that, but what is his name? Blackburn. We drafted that other tackle. He's like 330 pounds. He's humongous, huge. So I think he's going to be you're going to see him in the game. Especially like I said, in certain situations, you're probably going to see, like on offense, you're going to see different running backs in different situations. What is in short yardage situations, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4s, you might see that Blackburn, whatever his name is, you might be seeing him getting plugged in those situations to help shut down the run, to plug the gaps. And that's exactly what the Steelers need, someone to plug the gaps. Because a lot of people say Keanu Benton's undersized to play nose tackle in the NFL, and he'd be better suited for a defensive end in the 3-4 set, which might be true. That Blackburn is humongous. So that could be just a future D-line, honestly, once Cam Hayward steps aside, which is going to be in a few years, if not after this year. He probably only got this year, 1, 2, 3 years left, maximum, I'd say, for Cam Hayward. So you see, you got Blackburn, you got then Harmon and Benton playing D ends. And I think Sawyer, we'll see how they rotate him into defense. Is he going to be playing outside linebacker? Is he going to be playing inside linebacker? Is he a hybrid that can play both? Because I've seen a lot of film on him, and he was getting after the quarterback a lot, and they were sending him as a blitzer for Ohio State. But I don't know if he really has the frame to be an outside linebacker in the Steelers defense. Guess time will tell. And Kaleb Johnson, I think, he's going to be really good. I think he's a really good back. I think his speed is underrated. I think he can, once he gets it going, he can run the ball. If he's fast, he's lean, he's mean, he's 6'2", 225. I think he's ready to rock and roll in the NFL, and the Steelers got a great back out of him. He was great for Iowa. And the thing with Iowa is, like, if you play for Michigan, if you play for an Ohio State, if you play for Penn State, you got a lot of 5-star recruits everywhere, 4-star recruits everywhere, wide receiver, offensive line, quarterback, multiple 4-star running backs. Like Iowa, Kaleb Johnson essentially was the entire offense. They got no quarterback play. He was the offense for Iowa. Iowa's not a good I mean, they're all right. I'm not going to say they're total dog shit, but they're not considered the creme de la creme. All right. They're just not. They're a team that, every once in a while is ranked. That's about it. But when it comes to the Big Ten, it's Michigan, it's Ohio State, it's Penn State. And now with Oregon and USC in there, Iowa's pretty much irrelevant. They're pretty much irrelevant. And he was dominating for Iowa, all right, running all over boys against Big Ten defenses, which are pretty solid defenses in terms of college football compared to any other conferences. I mean, the SEC's got good defense, but the Big Ten's right up there with them, if not better now, with the additions of USC in Oregon and no more Nick Saban in Alabama, basically having a stranglehold on all of college football. I'm not going to say the SEC's trash, but the Big Ten was pretty dominant this year, I got to say. And they've been pretty dominant the past 2 or 3 years. Now that Nick Saban ain't down there in Alabama. So you got a running back like that that's running over powerhouse teams, going up against teams like Michigan, going up against teams like Ohio State, and all these powerhouse teams, and still be able to run the ball when you're pretty much that guy. Yeah, that's good. And he's got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and 2 backs that complement him perfectly, and Gainwell and Jaylen Warren. So he's got a nice little 3-headed monster in the backfield with DK. They're going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do this year. No doubt about it. They can put up numbers on offense. And on defense, I think they're going to be forcing a lot of turnovers. And with Rodgers, he just needs to keep the offense on time and on rhythm. That's all Russell Wilson had to do. And Run, you talk about the middle of the field and how you don't like the fact that the Steelers offense doesn't go over the middle of the field. Well, shit, with Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be going over the middle of the field. I don't care what Tomlin says. I don't care what Arthur Smith says. I don't care what Dan Rooney says. Aaron Rodgers runs a West Coast offense. He's run a West Coast offense his entire career, and that's basically the bread and butter of the West Coast offense. Easy checkdowns to your running back, quick slants over the middle, little digs to your tight end. There's going to be a lot of the middle of the field being utilized this year, and I think the offense is going to be totally different because I talked about it on this channel a lot, how the defense, it was all defense. No special teams, no offense. The defense playing the defense. The special teams punting it terribly, not making field goals. The defense getting the other team's offense off the field early. getting the offense in good field position, and then the offense couldn't even capitalize on the good field position and put the goddamn special teams in field goal range so Boswell can go out there and do what he does. And it's going to be totally different now. There's going to be a lot more first downs. I think the time of possession will be a lot better with Aaron Rodgers. We're going to sustain a lot more drives. The defense is not going to be left out to dry 17 games all year long, all 17 games, basically being left out on the field the entire game because the offense goes 3 and out every single time. I mean, Russell was a little bit better with Russell and Fields, but shit, the years before that with Pickett and Trubisky, them 2-3 years, bro, it was like 3 and out every single time. And they say the defense doesn't win games in the NFL, but they literally were winning games. And that's like another thing. Like I hear it all the time in my comments too. Like the Tomlin haters, like Tomlin's supposed to be a defensive coach. The defense sucks. The defense sucks. The defense is left out to dry every single game. And then come playoff game time, come the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, they're essentially gassed and injured because they're out on the field and people are getting hurt and banged up because you're literally leaving your defense out on the field the whole entire game. So with Rodgers being able to sustain drives, actually turn good field position into touchdowns, that's another thing the Steelers offense couldn't do when they did get good field position, and the defense set them up with great field position. They couldn't capitalize and turn it into any points. You give a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers the field position that the Steelers defense has been given Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky to past 3 or 4 years, Aaron Rodgers is going to capitalize on that shit. It's going to be a totally different story and a totally different ball game. SEC is the boss. Tired of the tush-push touchdowns. Need more excitement. Shit, our defense is proof that defense wins games. That's what I'm saying, but you get a lot of haters. I mean, that because of that playoff game, and that playoff game was terrible for the defense, and there was the past 4 or 5 years the playoffs have been bad for the Steelers defense because they, like, on paper, they give up a lot of points, but, you know, there's been a lot of turnovers too on the Steelers' offensive side of the ball, turning it over and setting up opposing offenses with good field position. You turn it over, like George Pickens, he fumbled that ball in that Bills game, and I think Mason Rudolph had a bad fumble or something in that Bills game. And then I think after that Pickens fumbles, Josh Allen had good field position. It was like 1, 2, 3, boom, threw a touchdown just right off the rip, boom, one first play, boom, touchdown to this tight end. They capitalize on great field position. Steelers haven't been. So I think that's just going to change. And we got some really lockdown corners now with Slay, Porter, and Joey Porter. With Slay, Porter, and Ramsey, bro. We're going to be forcing turnovers a lot this year, I think. I mean, you throw up I'm not going to say they're totally wrong. The defense has been collapsing. Like 300 yards on the ground last year was bad against the Ravens. But if you're leaving your defense out there every year, the past 4 or 5 years, all game long, every single game, I don't care how good you are, it's going to wear on you. And we get all these injuries on defense and shit. And that's why, because the offense just cannot stay on the field. They can't even pick up first downs. And I think that's going to be totally different this year. They haven't had a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns and probably since Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell were with the Steelers. Aaron threw for 30 last year. So shit, if he can throw for 25 this year and 3,500, at $13 million a year, hey, that's a good deal for the Steelers, period. I think the Ravens are the front runner. I think the Bengals have a chance too. I might even say the Bengals are the front runner given their schedule because they have a cakewalk of a schedule compared to the Steelers and the Ravens. I think the Browns have no chance. I think they'll be the worst team. And I think Cincy, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore are going to be sitting up there like anywhere between 9 to 12 wins. I think Cincy had like at 11. Baltimore had like at 10 and 11. And the Steelers had it like 10 and 11. It's really going to come down to those games when the Steelers play the Bengals and the Steelers play the Ravens. And if anyone can get an edge in those games and go 2-0 instead of splitting, wins the division. Because the Ravens are really stacked. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got Zay Flowers. They got Bateman. They got Derrick Henry. They got them 2 tight ends. Pretty solid offensive line. Omar MVP, should have won MVP this year. Jackson, who's already won an MVP. Greatest rushing quarterback the league's ever seen. And they got a lot of talent on defense, too. I think their defense is not as good as it's been, as we normally are accustomed to for the Baltimore Ravens, but they're still solid. They have a good secondary more than anything. And they're normally playing with a lead. So they force teams to throw the ball into their great secondary, and it's just a disaster. And then they ground and pound you out of the game. And it's hard to beat the Ravens. It really is. And they beat the dog shit out of the Steelers last year. And I'm sure they added help on defense through the draft. I don't know exactly all who they drafted, but I'm sure they added a lot of talent on defense through the draft. And they probably got a few weapons on offense. You can't do shit. He threw for like 40 touchdowns last year and almost ran for 1,000 yards and only threw like under 10 interceptions at like a 70% completion percentage. He fucking killed it last year. He killed it. Absolutely. I mean, you could be I don't like the Ravens, but you got to give credit when credit's due, bro. And he fucking just balled out last year. Balled the fuck out. He's so hard to stop. He's the reason they ran all over the Steelers in the playoffs. Because they literally, what they did was, and I even said it before the game, I said, you got to bail out for Derrick Henry. That's all you can do. You can't let Derrick Henry get it going early. And that was obviously the Steelers' philosophy too. They didn't want to let Derrick Henry get going early, and they kept jamming the middle, blitz in the middle. And every time Lamar would fake it and roll out and run for 15 and 20 yards every single time. I remember like the whole first drive, he must have did about 20 play action boots and just ran all over the Steelers defense. It's so hard to stop a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. There's nothing. It's so hard. Especially if he got it going through the air. And he's hitting his passes and he's on time and on rhythm. Bro, come on. Same with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow killed it last year. And they have so much talent on offense. And they have a pretty soft-ass schedule. So Steelers, even with their defense, they're going to have to put up points. They're going to have to force turnovers. They're going to have to make Joe Burrow eat dirt. And that's possible. But the offense got to step up. This is where it's going to have to be defense, offense, special teams this year. It can't continue to be defense, special teams, no offense. And that's pretty much has been the theme for the Steelers for a long time now. So now all 3 phases of the game really need to come together for the Steelers. I thought I was going to do that last year with Russell Wilson, but it didn't. And he shit the bed, especially the last 5 games of the season. And they can't have Rodgers do that. Didn't get him nowhere. Got him further than the Steelers. It got him a division championship. They got them as the front runners to win the division this year. He's a runner and a thrower. That's you never know what's coming. And then when you got Derrick Henry, he's impossible to stop. And then they got even more receivers. They got Hopkins, Bateman, Zay Flowers, all them tight ends. Bro, they are stacked. And then they just picked up that corner. Jair or some corner. Didn't they pick up that Jair Alexander from the Packers? So they just picked him up. They have that other cornerback who's a shutdown corner. They got that safety who's I think he made Hamilton, who made a Pro Bowl last year. They still got that linebacker, Roquan Smith. He's better than Patrick Queen. They got massive defensive linemen. That one dude, that outside linebacker, I forget his name. He was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year last year. He had a ton of sacks. I forget what the hell his name is, though. So they have two solid linebackers, humongous defensive linemen, and there's pretty much a lockdown secondary now with all that talent on offense. The Ravens, shit, they're probably odds-on favorite to win the goddamn Super Bowl this year outside of the Philly. I wonder what the odds are. Look up who has the best odds to win the Super Bowl right now. I bet any money Ravens are top 3. Have to be. If they're not top 3, bro, shit. And I hate the Ravens. I don't like the Ravens. This might come off as I love like the Ravens, but it's just, dude, they're stacked. I don't like the Bengals, but guess what? The Bengals are stacked on offense. They suck on defense, but they're stacked on offense. Jamar Chase, probably the best receiver in the NFL, next to Justin Jefferson. T. Higgins is damn good. Joe Burrow is amazing. He tore it up last year. Yeah. Talk shit. You can talk shit when they lose, but guess what? They made it further than us. Eagles, Bills, Ravens, top 3. There you go. There you fucking go. I don't even have it in front of me. And I know that they're stacked. They're stacked. They are stacked. Stacked. We ain't stacked like that. We're not. On defense, Steelers are stacked. On offense, there's major question marks. Who's the number 2 wide receiver going to be? Is Broderick Jones going to bounce back this year? Is that first-round pick a bust or not? I can't even pronounce his name. He was hurt all last year. Fatu Vanadu, whatever the hell his name is, that offensive lineman that's starting at right tackle this year. Will Zach Frazier have a sophomore slump his second year at center? Will McCormick be a serviceable guard? Is Kaleb Johnson any good? Is Jaylen Warren? Can Jaylen Warren carry the feature load without Najee Harris? Can Patrick Queen have a bounce back year? Because if he plays like he played last year, I don't think the Steelers defense, we're not going nowhere. We need him to have a Pro Bowl caliber year. Who's going to step up and fill Minka's shoes on defense? So there's not any questions on offense. There's questions on defense. Like the Ravens have no questions on offense, in my opinion. I feel you cannot have a more stacked offense than the Ravens have right now, unless you're like Cincy. Like literally, they're stacked to the brim offensively. 2 number one tight ends, DeAndre Hopkins, Zay Flowers, who made the Pro Bowl last year. DeAndre Hopkins is basically a number one wide receiver. Or let's just say he's a solid number 2 right now. And then Rashard Bateman coming out of the slot, bro. Come on. Derrick Henry is one of the greatest running backs the league's ever seen. Has rushed for 2,000 yards, I don't know how many times. Is unstoppable. Is a brick shit house. Ran all over the Steelers. Like, that's why they drafted Harmon. That's why, like, they even said it in that, what's that Hard Knocks or whatever it was, that AFC North special. And TJ and Tomlin, he's talking about, we draft players specifically just to match up against players in our division. And that's exactly why they added the beef to the defensive line is Derrick Henry with Harmon and that dude we got in the 5th round. Bengals are inconsistent as always, banged up, and still keeps on their heels of scoring and banging. Bills are finally going to get it done this year against the Chiefs. Bills versus Eagles Super Bowls. I can see that. The Eagles are stacked as hell too. I mean, if we're going to say another team that's stacked like the Eagles, shit, they got Devontae Smith. They got A.J. Brown. They got Jalen Hurts. They got Saquon Barkley. They got an amazing offensive line. They got that defensive line coming back. They got Cooper DeJean out there in the secondary. And they got and then it has some good-ass linebackers too. The Eagles are stacked to the brim. They're going to win that division easily. I hear real shit talking like the Redskins are going to win that division. He's crazy. He's crazy. I might say the Redskins will finish 3rd in that division behind Dallas. Dallas might come in 2nd this year. I don't know. But I know the Eagles are going to win that division. I don't see the Vikings getting back. The Lions, that could be a team. You can't sleep on the Lions. The Rams, they'll probably be all right. But let me think in the NFC North. I mean, the Packers, who knows? But I think the Lions will win their division. The Eagles will win their division. Who's going to win this? The Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, and who else is in that division? I'm missing a team. So I got the Lions winning the North, the Eagles winning the East. Let's see who wins the South. I'll say Tampa Bay wins the South. And then I'll say the West. I don't know who wins the West. I'm going to say the Rams. I want to say the 49ers. I don't know. I'll say the Rams win the West. I'll say the Ravens win the AFC North. Bills win the AFC East. The Texans win the AFC South. And the AFC West. Got the Raiders, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Broncos. It's a tough one. Because I think the Chargers are going to be good this year. I think the Broncos were good last year. And depending on if Bo Nix can continue to do what he does, and if he can get better than he did last year, you can't even count out the Broncos in that division. The Chiefs, they're still there, but man, they got a tough division. If Najee Harris wasn't hurt all this year, I might even say the Chargers might win that division. But I'll say the Chiefs win the West. Ravens win the North. Bills win the East. Texans win the South. I got the Eagles, the Rams, the Lions, and the Buccaneers winning divisions. I got the Ravens at like 12, 11 wins. I got the Steelers at 10 and 11. I got the Bengals anywhere between 10 and 12. I think the Browns will be trash. I agree with your thing. Do the Browns know who their quarterback's going to be yet? I want to smash Pickett, LO. Probably Flacco, though. I don't know. That's it. They got a lot of quarterbacks in that over there. Who knows? I'd probably say Flacco, though. Najee Harris was beneficial in the red zone. Always fought for yards worth of. I I've been saying it, and I think that was a mistake, us letting Najee walk. We never should have did that, but they did. I think him and Jalen complemented each other perfectly. It was a big mistake, especially for how little they had to fucking pay his ass. It was a huge mistake. They could have had it. They could have franchise tagged him for like $5 million. I just don't get it. It didn't make no sense to me. They had all the leverage, just like the TJ Watt situation. Is you take it as like I'm hating on TJ run. I'm not hating on TJ, but I'm reading articles and you know, if you can sit there and franchise tag TJ Watt for $29 million, why not do it? If he doesn't want to play for $35 million and you have that option to franchise tag him, we could have tagged him 2 more times. And that's literally TJ's 31 this year. So you tag him this year, you tag him next year. It's a business. I'm not sentimental. I'm not looking at no. We own your ass. You're an employee, and we're going to take advantage of you, and we're going to get the best out of you for as cheap as possible. It's a business. All businesses run that way, okay? And if you have that leverage in a contract negotiation or a contract dispute, you got to use it. You got to use it. Same with Naj. You could have just franchise tagged him. There wouldn't have been a debate on how much, this much, that much, how many years. You're tagged 1 more year. Come in here and run your ass off and then go out there in free agent market and then get more elsewhere. It's a business. I'm not here to cater to your fucking ego. I'm not hating on him. But I think Myles Garrett probably got more left in the tank. And Myles Garrett plays multiple different positions on the defensive line. TJ just wants to rush from the outside. Myles Garrett will give you reps at defensive tackle, outside linebacker, inside linebacker. TJ can't really cover. He's a one-trick pony. And it's just a fact that out of the 3-4 defense, it's a lot easier to get sacks opposed to if you're a 4-3 defensive end. It is. So stats aren't everything. Pickens is a total hate case. Still acted like a dumbass. I'm so glad he's gone. He's the glue of the franchise. For defense, we still didn't look at our record without TJ. I mean, you're right. But the offense has been so bad. There's no offense. And let's go at it from this angle. Because I don't really agree that you should be spending, all this money on offense or whatever. But that's a lot of memes. Those memes get floated around in Steelers communities and Steelers groups all the time. The Steelers the highest paid defense. The Steelers have the lowest paid offense. Well, if you're shelling out that much money to one player, you're going to lack offensively, and the Steelers have lacked offensively for a long time. So you're never going to have a near perfect, or you might have a near perfect roster. You're never going to have there might be those 1 or 2 teams that have an almost perfect roster, like the Ravens this year, the Eagles. But 1 or 2 injuries, then they're fucked. Like a Lamar Jackson goes down, they're fucked. Same with the Steelers. I don't know if TJ goes down, the Steelers are really fucked. I really don't. I can't say that. A Patrick Mahomes goes down, the Chiefs are fucked. Lamar goes down, the Ravens are fucked. Burrow goes down, Cincinnati's fucked. Josh Allen goes down, the Bills are fucked. So defensively, I'd say the Steelers are very, very deep. You got a few questions. Who's going to be that real run-stopping inside linebacker? And who's going to really fill the shoes for Minkah? But I think, sure, our secondary got a lot better with Ramsey and Slay. And Joey Porter coming into, his fourth year? Deshaun Elliott had a really good year last year. And Harmon, who was the best pass rushing defensive lineman in all of college football last year, going to be a plug-and-play starter. The defense is going to be a lot better this year. I don't think he'll never get fired. I don't think the Rooney's just don't like doing that. And I don't think they'll fire him. But I think if they're going to let Tomlin go, they'll just let his contract run out and it'll go from there. It's not just because he's black. I think he's had a great career. I think he has a Hall of Fame resume. The Rooneys have faith in him. I think he's proven all the doubters wrong when he was originally hired. Yeah, they've had lack of playoff success, but I don't think that's all on Tomlin. I think there's been a lot of injuries in the playoffs. I think there's been a lot of bad business decisions made on Kevin Colbert's part. Omar Khan, we're still wait and see on some of his business decisions. You can't really give an opinion on it either way. You just got to let it play out. He's only been here as GM, 3 or 4 years? So you got to give him, a little bit of rope to see where it goes, see how he builds things, and see how it all comes together. But I think there was a lot of bust drafts during Kevin Colbert's era that Tomlin gets all the blame for. And I don't think Tomlin had any say over Kevin Colbert. Did he have a voice in the room? Of course. But I think Kevin Colbert was a general manager and he had the final say. He was won a Super Bowl before Tomlin was there. And definitely had more power than Tomlin within the organization. And there's been a lot of bad game time decisions on Tomlin's part too. So it's a combination of a lot of things that goes wrong with the Steelers, especially late season collapses. And Tomlin's got to bear and shoulder some of that blame. He does. But I still think he's a good coach. And they extended him. And they're going to honor that contract. And they're going to see where it goes. If they win 11 games this year, he passes Chuck Noll all time in franchise history for the most wins in franchise history. So, and he's won a Super Bowl. Oh, he made some dumb decisions. Yeah, he lost that Bengals game. I squarely, I made a whole fucking video flipping out, ranting about the fact that he gave them 3 points. He lost that game specifically. I have a short on my channel. I just called him a crackhead, bro. When he went for it, and then he gave him 3 at half. Like, that was the most stupidest decision. I made so many videos this year of him going for it on 4th down every time, and it would drive me fucking crazy. I remember I was on the phone with my girl when that play happened. I said, I got to get off this phone. No, she was on the phone. She was on Skype or some shit. I was on my laptop. I was like, I got to make a video right now. And I just started tripping, bro, tripping. I was like, dude, if he's really going for this right now and they don't get it, I'm going to fucking go crazy. I'm going to go insane and make a video. I just ran it. Spit was flying out of my mouth. I was like, bro, this is the reason why everybody in Pittsburgh wants to see your ass fired, because you make decisions like this. Somebody who's straight smoking. crack, bro. Like somebody who's straight smoking crack. And they lost that game by 2 points. They lost that game by 2 points. And he literally handed them three. Handed them three. Handed them the game. The three they needed to win the game. He gave it to them. And then there was that one that he picked up. No, wait. No, he didn't pick it up, actually. We still somehow won the game. That Washington game. I don't know how we won that Washington game, but he went for it on like a 4th and like 20. And he called a fake punt pass on like a 4th and fucking 20. And the play was executed perfectly. I think Miles Killebrew was the one that dropped the ball. He might have been the one that threw it. I forget who dropped it. But we were winning that game. And it was like late in the second half. And if they would have scored, I think they ended up taking the lead or something, bro. Like, dude, we're winning the game, and we have all the momentum in this game and in their stadium. And it's like he just took all the momentum and just gave life back to the whole entire stadium and the whole entire the other team. Like, bro, you do not go for it. I don't care if the play was executed perfectly. 4th and 17, a fake punt pass with the lead. It defies all logic. And the way we build our teams to be a defensive team, and the offense we know is not good. So going for it on 4th down and giving opposing offenses field position and just handing them over points when you're supposed to be built. And the way they play on offense too is like hyper conservative until you hit 4th down, and then you're just playing Russian roulette out there, bro. Like literally, if you're playing hyper conservative, you got to play hyper conservative the whole game. Like that's your philosophy. If you're defensive minded, you got to be defensive minded and punt the ball. And let your defense be the defense, and hold them down deep in their zone, and then give your offense good field position. Those are little things. Defense, offense, special teams, and I talked about that all last year. Defense, offense, special teams. No, Nazdar, I'm not going to let real shit join. He's banned for life, forever on this channel. And no, we're not going to win the Super Bowl. We're not going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to be lucky to win the division. They might win a division. They might win a playoff game this year, but I don't know. Are we going to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. If all that comes together, though, if the defense can be a top 5 defense, and Aaron Rodgers can actually go out there and manage games and not turn it over and not lose games like Russell Wilson did, that's all really the Steelers need at quarterback, is a quarterback that can go out there, pick up a few first downs, and not lose games like Russell Wilson went out there and lost the Ravens game. Probably helped lose that Bengals game along with Tomlin's bad decision-making. The Russell Wilson, that Ravens game, he definitely lost. And that 5-game stretch, he played terrible. That last 5-game stretch, he was basically absent, non-existent, absolutely horrible. So you just got to go out there and be consistent, pick up first downs, don't turn it over, check it down, keep the ball moving, keep it rhythm, keep the ball out of the opposing offensive's hands, keep the defense fresh, ready to go, give them a little bit of a lead, and then they can start sending blitzes from everywhere. And then with Jalen Ramsey, Joey Porter Jr., Deshaun Elliott, and Darius Slay in that secondary, Steelers defense is going to force turnovers, set Aaron Rodgers up with good field position. And then, unlike last year, when we have the good field position, capitalize on it, get Boswell in position to do what he does and be Mr. Consistent, or put it in a touchdown 30 times like Aaron Rodgers did. But the Steelers haven't had a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns since Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. And a receiver that is like DK that can go out there and get you 10 touchdowns a season. They haven't had a number 1 guy since Antonio Brown like DK.
I don't care what Pickens ain't no number one wide receiver. Everybody talks like he is, but he's never put up number one wide receiver stats. He's never put up Pro Bowl caliber stats. DK has been there and done that, and that's what they need is DK to be there and do that this year and get us 10 touchdowns, 1,200 yards, 85 catches. Jonnu Smith had like 9 touchdowns last year. So you get 20 between them two and then distribute the rest. Shit. Steelers going to be all right. Now, can they stay healthy? And if they lose come playoff time, be it bad decision making by Tomlin, maybe it is time for his ass to get fired. But I don't think it's going to happen. Omar Khan's just re-signed him. So what was he going to fire him 2 years removed? I don't see it happening. I think Omar Khan and Tomlin are conjoined at the hip, regardless. If anything, they'll fire Khan and then bring in a new GM to fire Tomlin. If they're going to fire Tomlin, but they won't. If anything, they just won't extend him. Say thanks, Mike, for everything, but we're moving in a new direction. I think that's how we'll see if the Steelers actually do decide to move on from Tomlin. And has the time come to fire him? Nah. Like I said it before, I don't think you fire a coach like that. That's the way you got to handle it. Just let his contract run out and then move forward. They don't have to re-extend him. They can let his contract run out. Say you're a Hall of Famer. You're you're the winningest coach in franchise history. We appreciate all you've done, but now it's time the fans are done with Tomlin. I usually say it's like 50-50 Tomlin support, Tomlin hate. Bro, it's like 60-40. There ain't Tomlin's fans are about done with Tomlin. I'd say Pickens is better than Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson, I think, was terribly overrated, overpaid, was horrible, dropped it like crazy. Wasn't really a big play wide receiver. Was soft as baby shit. Was a diva. At least Pickens could, put up big plays and make spectacular catches. But he never put up number one wide receiver numbers in the league. Yeah, he would run. Yeah, he'd be scared to go over the middle. It's like almost like he'd be scared to go over the middle and get hit. He was. He's a bitch. I never liked Deontay Johnson ever. Every video I ever made about Deontay Johnson was negative. There wasn't many, but there were a few that I did. So I remember like during his contract situation, like he said something real stupid, and I made a whole video about his dumb ass. Nah, I didn't get no DK jersey. He's not even you can AB at least did that and done that. AB at least put up numbers. Pickens didn't put up no numbers like AB put up. Not even close. Pickens' best season was like 80 catches, like 1,000 yards, like 3 or 4 touchdowns. Pickens is not that. I mean, you could say Pickens never had a real quarterback throwing him the ball. I'll say that about Pickens. So if we're going to give Pickens a pass, we'll give him that pass. So we'll see how good he is really with Dak throwing him the ball and in Dallas, in a team that wants to really throw the ball. And he's with a team that pretty much primarily wanted to run the ball. So we'll see. But I know DK Metcalf, just like I know, like I would eat real shit 412 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's basically DK Metcalf would eat George Pickens for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Would just stomp him in the dirt like a little child, manhandle him like a little baby, like a little child, rock him like a baby, put him over his knee and just bop, 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 bop. Yeah, I didn't like. I remember that offseason. It was Juju's free agent offseason. I wrote so many big, long articles about Juju, bro, and how I wanted them to bring Juju back. I was got to the point where I was putting out fake news that the Steelers have made a deal with Juju. I was putting out fake Juju news. I wanted to sign Juju over Deontay Johnson. I remember I was pissed about us signing Deontay Johnson over Juju. I was upset about that. Very, very upset about that. I felt Juju was better than Deontay Johnson. I don't get why we gave Deontay the money we gave him. I don't get it. I don't get it. He had like one good year, Deontay. That was it. I was like, the Steelers have a I called it, but I put out fake news about TJ, his first contract, and I called his contract number and years right on the money. And I put out fake news about Tomlin and when he got extended, and I called it pretty much right on the money. I called it though. That was the same offseason, I think. And I said, well, let's see if we can get 3 in a row, right? And put out the news before the news comes out. And the Juju, it didn't happen with Juju. Yeah, Juju was good. Make sure everybody hits the like. Oh, yeah. He'd go over the middle. He did everything the team asked him to do. Like, that's something like people said he wasn't a team player, and a lot of people hated on him because Mark Madden, especially, just demonized him because of the TikTok shit. But at the end of the day, on the field, he was a team player and did whatever the team asked him to do. He didn't drop balls. He had a couple bad fumbles in horrible spots. You can knock him for that. But I guarantee you a lot more receivers have more fumbles than him. His was just in the most critical, horrible situations, too. Which, I mean, he deserves criticism for. He fucked up. But I think for the price and production, I'd rather have Juju at a cheaper price than Deontay, making him. He was like one of the highest paid receivers in the league when they paid him. It was retarded. It was crazy. It was stupid. It made no sense. Oh, Mark, yeah, I called into his show too. He wouldn't let me get a word in. He just interrupted me, cut me off, and then hung up the phone the whole time. He wouldn't even let me make my point. He just interrupted me and then was trying to like put words in my mouth of the point that I was trying to make. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. You're like, what? And he just hung up the phone and went on a whole ramble how he's smart and everybody else is stupid. But the reason he gets a job is though, Steeler fans, they're homers. They're big. They're next to the Cowboys fan base. The Steelers are the biggest homer fan base in the world. Okay, and he don't kowtow of homers. And he puts on that villain role, and he gets people talking. And he's not afraid to, go outside the box. So there's a reason he has a job. And he don't really have much competition in Pittsburgh. His competition is like Andrew Filipponi, who like literally puts out fake news like on a day-to-day basis. just for clicks and ratings. And he's like trying so hard to rise to the top and get out of Pittsburgh. That's what Andrew Filipponi's really trying to do. He's trying to rise to the top. He's trying to make a name for himself. Get the best ratings possible. And I think it backfires on him. Because they probably have people that look up all the trending names and shit and what's trending, what's generating clicks and all that shit. He went to school for all that shit. Probably communications and social media and all that stuff. So he's really looking, it's a numbers game. That's all it is a numbers game for him. It's not about being right, wrong. It's generating clicks and revenue for massa. No, I don't claim Stephen A. Smith. He's not a fan. He used to be a New York Giants fan back when Skip Bayless was on the show and Eli was winning rings. He was a New York Giants fan. And then all of a sudden, somehow, some way, he's my Pittsburgh Steelers. My Pittsburgh Steelers needs to pay Mike Wallace $1 trillion. My Pittsburgh Steelers. He's like a player's agent. He ain't a Steelers fan. He's a player's agent that uses the Steelers' name to generate clicks, generate views, generate controversy for massa. You might as well just call him Stephen Tom Smith. That's who he is, Stephen Tom Smith. Fuck out of here. He ain't no Steelers fan. There ain't really nobody. I don't listen to none of them. Honestly, I don't listen to none of them. I'll read Madden's articles and I'll see some of Filipponi's tweets. And all last year, the Brandon Ayuk shit, he's the one that started all that garbage. There's so many other ones that he just starts rumors that probably that the dude from the Saints. I think him and 93.7 The Fan were the ones saying we were going to trade for him. T. Higgins, he was the one saying the Steelers are already got a deal done with T. Higgins in the offseason. He put that shit out there. Oh, man, so much stuff. That he put out there is just none of it came true. So anytime he says he has sources, I think he has zero sources, none whatsoever. I think Mark Madden is more of a Pittsburgh voice. And I think he's more of an actual Steelers fan than Andrew Filipponi. Filipponi's not a Steelers fan whatsoever. Madden is from Pittsburgh. And he just acts like he hates the Steelers, but he probably is a diehard, just grew up watching the Steelers, bro. Like, it's just, especially his time, he can come up during the heyday. So believe me, he's a diehard Steelers fan. And he is like one of the older fans that is just, they don't like the younger generation, like the Jujus and you should be just a blue collar. Terry Bradshaw used to ride in the stadium in his old ass Chevrolet truck and shit. Football was just different than when he was coming up too. So he's a little out of touch, I would say. But I like the fact that he has balls, not just to say what you want to hear. That's like a lot of these, they'll just tell you what you want to hear. And a lot of it is for show. and he's just playing on that villain role. But it's good to hear someone say something you don't want to hear. It gives you an alternative opinion. It makes you think. Like a lot of the shit he was saying about the TJ Watt contract, I honestly agreed with him. That you got to play hardball. You got that franchise tag at your disposal. So why are you going to sit there and cave to him for $40 million when you can tag his ass for 28? I agree with that. I really do. And I don't agree with everything he says, but with that, I agree. You have leverage. Use it. It is cool. It's gonna be a tough game against who do we play? The Vikings in Ireland. It's gonna be a tough one. But I gotta say, we're gonna have the crowd. The Steelers will have the crowd, and they'll win that game. It'll be tough though. The Vikings are good, but I don't that early in the season with a healthy Steelers defense against a second-year quarterback in McCarthy. The Vikings have a lot of talent on offense, but it's like Bo Nix. He balled out all year long, had a great rookie campaign, but when he played the Steelers defense, Bo Nix looked like trash. So I think that's what they'll do to what's that quarterback's name? McCarthy, JJ McCarthy. I think the Steelers will just shut him up and shut him down. And then Brandon sent me some shit that the Patriots are going to be better than the Steelers this year. No way. No way. No way. Some dude, I don't even know. Some random dude, I don't even know who the hell he was. And then you got real shit talking about the Pirates. No, should we talk about the Pirates? Oh, yeah, the Pirates. Don Kelly, he's such a better manager. The Pirates are 20 games under 500. You got O'Neal Cruz out there literally taking plays off and not even running after fly balls that he drops and shit under Kelly's management. And Kelly finally benched him, but he still puts him out there every single day. So Kelly really, at the end of the day, you probably should have threw O'Neal Cruz off the team. After the first fly ball he didn't run after and get and is just giving up on plays and out there not even trying right now. O'Neal Cruz shouldn't even have been in the home run derby. Let's keep it 100. O'Neal Cruz is not good. The whole entire Pirates organization is not good. Paul Skeens is the only good thing on the Pirates. They got an okay pitching staff, but they got no hitting. They got no future whatsoever. By 2027, Paul Skeens will be in another team's uniform, and the Pirates will just be terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Don Kelly's not a good manager. They should have, as you say, you said they shouldn't have fired Derek Shelton. Yeah, they shouldn't have fired Derek Shelton. They should have fired him in the offseason and hired Terry Francona. They should have brought in a competent manager. Now we're stuck with Don Kelly, and what are they going to do? Extend Don Kelly after this season? Probably. And then what? We're just going to have horrible baseball again. And then it's going to be the same song of fire Kelly after this next season. Third season, and it'll be fire Kelly because Kelly doesn't deserve to be a manager in the league. And if you bring Don Kelly back as manager after this season, I'd say the Pirates have no business, and Bob Nutting has no business coming out on stage and facing the Pittsburgh public and actually putting on that fraud face that he puts on and says he wants to compete with a championship. If you have Don Kelly as your manager next year, and you come out here and telling me how you want to compete for championships, the PNC Park should be a ghost town every single freaking game. Because that's a joke. And it's a joke that they did not go out there and sign, more hitters around this pitching staff. It's pathetic. Ben Sherrington needs to get fired, period. Point blank. He should have been fired first, if anybody. No, he's going to be gone.
I mean, what if they sell, though? Bob Nutting's never going to sell. He still makes a profit. Shit, I went to that one game. I went to a game this year. It was fireworks night. That park was pretty much filled out. It was pretty much packed house, bro. Park's so nice, too. It's beautiful. Fireworks night was fire. I will say, Zambelli's puts on a goddamn show. I will give the Zambelli crew credit. They put on a goddamn show. Fireworks were amazing. Oh, they had fans lining up all the way out in the streets. They had that Skeens bobblehead night the one night. That was shit. It was sold out night for Skeens bobblehead night. It's crazy. What else is there to do in Pittsburgh, really? I mean, oh, the Mets aren't that good. Mets are okay, I guess. What do you do? We beat the Mets. Every other team in the Pirates division has a winning record. The Brewers are one of the best teams in baseball. The Cubs are the best team in baseball right now. Brewers are second, right behind them. Cubs got 59 wins. The Brewers got 57. Cardinals got 51. The Reds got 51. And the Pirates are sitting at 20 games below 500 with like 29 wins. They haven't even hit 30 wins yet. They haven't hit 30 wins yet. They might not even win 60 games this year. They might not even win 60 games this year. The Pirates are terrible. They are a joke. They are a laughingstock. And to have a talent like Paul Skeens on that roster, and the best chance you have to actually put a decent team around that fucking talent to actually make a real run at it. You can actually go out there and spend a little bit of money with Paul Skeens and make a run at it. Like, he's averaging less than 2 runs a game. 2 runs a game. You're telling me you can't go out there and get 2 decent bats to give you an offense that can produce at least 3 runs a game at a major league level? You can't give me 3 runs a game. If you give me 3 runs a game, Paul Skeens is undefeated, is the pure. He already should be the front runner for the Cy Young. But if he actually had a team that could go out there and get 3 runs a game, oh my Lord, have mercy. He would be undefeated and he would be the Cy Young hands down candidate of the year for sure. He already should be right now. But if he actually had some run support, the Pirates would actually be shit. That's fuck. He started like 15 games this year. He's only won like 4 of them. The Mount Washington incline. I remember I rode down in my first Steeler game, parked on top of Mount Washington, went down the thing, and then took the Gateway Clipper right over. It was still Heinz Field, and then they run you right up to Heinz Field, right through the thing, and you go right up in there to the stadium. Yeah, I probably should end it now, too. It's been long enough. So I'll talk to y'all later. I might go live tomorrow. I might start uploading. I gotta upload more videos. I never do. I don't know. We're gonna start going live again. Maybe, probably. Talk to you all later.